Hi guys, it's Hella from Dawn Emporium again, and now we're on to the Halloween winner. I Love Mann with Hoptana. I'm probably saying that wrong, but sorry. I have a great granddad who's currently spinning around right now. So, Hoptana is the oldest continually existing tradition in the Isle of Man, and we call it Halloween. But Hoptana, if you sound well, you know how you squint to look at something, to like magic eyes. Well, if you ear squint, Hogmanay, Hoptana, New Year's. Yes, they win because oldest continually existing tradition in the Isle of Man. Total win, just because of that. Because otherwise they'd be neck and neck with Ireland. Sorry, you win. I know I really shouldn't make this some kind of like contest, but when I realised that England completely lost out, I sort of did. I know I'm evil. I really, really am evil. Oops. How will I sleep tonight? I'm already tired, and it is currently like 7:30 in the morning, so I think quite well. In fairness, I did get up at 4:30 this morning, so I think I have the right to be a little bit tired. Sleeping well. So, part of Hoptana, a big part, is to carve a moot, which is a turnip. You hollow it out and you decorate it. You're going to hear a lot about moots. Now, to me, a moot is a meeting hall or a meeting. Moot. So, I can actually see how the turnip being called a moot would actually equate to meat as well. How I know moot. Because, well, you'll see throughout what I am about to tell you about Hoptana. Because a moot hall was a festivities hall. A moot hall, a hall of turnips, where everyone meets to celebrate. Anyway, so also carved tuggies, turnips, are very common throughout everywhere. I just haven't gone through all the minutiae of everyone. I've just gone through the cool little quirks here and there. But carved turnips are common everywhere, pretty much. It's just that in the Isle of Man, it's a thing. You will see how much of a thing. So, a moot is hollowed out and decorated. Songs and dances are performed. It's the new year. Of course it's going to be. It's also the harvest festival. So the Manx people would give thanks to the harvest for their winter stores, and bread is baked as part of the festivities with the grain that they've gathered. There's dancing, and it's a Hollandtide dance through the streets where couples carrying their carved moots, turnips, singing the Hoptana song. Now, there are multiple local variations. What I've noticed is like the first verse seems to be the same in the 3 versions that I saw. And then after that, it seems to vary from place to place. So, awesome. Seems to have started out literally as the first verse. The chorus only changes the odd word, and then from then on it sort of changes depending on where you are, what village, what town, what area. It changes, becomes more localized. I think that's actually kind of awesome. Loving it. And the fact that it's literally called the New Year song, I'm good with that. not having to lean on Robbie Burns and his antics. And yes, I can do the ugly face because guess who I'm related to? I get to diss him. It's so much fun. Children will go door to door singing rhyming songs in return for gifts of bread, potatoes and herring, also carrying their moots. Do you think they're meeting a lot of people while they're doing this? It's amazing. The Manx Gaelic song, Ginny the Witch, is also a traditional Hoptonar song, and is based on the real-life witch trial of a Manx lady called Joni Lowney, which took place between 1715 and 1716. She was accused, this is awesome, of halting production of corn at her local mill and obtaining fish by mysterious means. Wahaha! Yeah, witchcraft has always been pretty damn pathetic. Right, now, just a quick put in. If you read Ginny the Witch in English, makes no sense. Right, it is not a rhyming song because you're reading it in English. Even if you just look at the words when they're in Manx and you can't even speak the language, you can kind of tell that it rhymes a lot better in its original language. So, yeah, when you're sitting there and you're reading it and the last line is literally 3 lines long, you know fine well that no, that's because you're reading it in the wrong language. So, she actually got quite lucky, as witches go, and received just 14 days in prison and died in 1725. So she did well. Similar to how Vikings celebrated the New Year's, divinations were read. Now the thing is, there's divinations all over here. The bread, the porridge, the cakes, divinations all over. It's a bit of a thing. New year, new divination. But, I haven't got to that bit yet. I'll shut my mouth. But, right. So, to predict the future, but not just your future, but the weather, you've got to remember the Isle of Man is actually quite a small island surrounded by quite a savage sea. The Irish Sea is not a nice place. So they need to know what the weather's like. Because it is a bit of a wind tunnel. So, big up on that. One way to do this was smoothing the fire ashes in the hearth at the end of the night. If in the morning a footprint had appeared facing the door, somebody would die over the next year. If there was a footprint going from the door into the main house, as in facing as though it was coming into the house from outside, a baby would be born. That's pretty cool. Another divination tradition is, I'm going to say it wrong, sorry, Sodag Velu, or dumb cake. Women and girls baked and ate the cake in silence, hence the name, because dumb means non-verbal. It is now classed as a bad word, but it's the name of the cake. They're not going to change it to non-verbal cake just to be more PC. They're not calling people stupid by calling them dumb. The cake literally means you just don't speak. Okay, so pointing that out. Then walked backwards from where they ate their dung cake to their beds. If they did it right and managed to do it all without speaking, they dream of their future husband. How cool is that? There's lots of dreaming of husbands. One of these countries, forgotten which one it is, I literally had to go through and just pick a few of the traditions because there were dozens. And it's like, one of them, women had to walk around a church like clockwise 3 times, saying a certain little rhyme, and then go to bed that night and she'd dream of her husband. There's lots of dreaming of husbands, if you notice, like apples under pillows and things like that. So because the veil is thin, the ancestors can tell you what you need to know, who's going to come calling, rings in things and stuff like that. So that is the end. And I'm sorry, the Manx win, because it's their oldest tradition. And something that is often forgotten, and the reason why the Isle of Man is not part of GB is because they used to be such a powerful people. These days, we just sit there and go, oh, it's just the Isle of Man. It's tiny. Look at it. Most of us forget about it. No. Back in the day, it was the English who were thought of as being weak. They were constantly getting taken over. They were constantly having their religion changed. They were having their calendar changed. They were having when their days started and ended changed. They were having their gods changed. It was like every second week. It was getting silly. So they were the weak ones, right? Now, the Cornish, not so much, because that is actually pretty harsh terrain. The Welsh, not so much. They fought tooth and nail, and again, pretty harsh terrain. The Scottish, everybody knows about the Scottish. Entire legions went missing up there. The thing is, if you actually got on with them, they were really quite easy to get on with. But most invading forces were invading, not being nice. But people, when it came to the Isle of Man, most of them couldn't even make it to shore. If they didn't know you, then they didn't like you, and you weren't going to make it anywhere near them. They were a terrifying people. So the fact that they were the dominant people when it came to, how would you put it? They were the big boys in town when it came to the British Isles, like all the isles in what you think of as Britain, the set of islands. You know, the Isle of Wight, Skye, Lewis, Britain, Ireland. It was the Manx. They were the powerhouse because literally no one could take them over. It was awesome. The fact that this is the oldest tradition that has been constantly carried on. And yes, it has changed slightly over the years, but they have carried this on since prehistory, quite literally. And it has barely changed. They might have stopped certain bits, they might have changed certain bits, but they are still singing songs from hundreds of years ago. And instead of going, oh no, you can't do that anymore, it's not fashionable, they'll just change it to make it fashionable for that direct area. You know, and bearing in mind it is such a small landmass as the world goes, they, instead of fighting over things, they just change them, which I think is why they were so powerful. Like I say, with the Hoptonar song, instead of having one song for all and you must sing this same song, they were just sitting there going, well, yeah, you want to change those words, you want, fine, do it. You know, but the guy from the next village over, when he comes over courting, he's going to sound a bit silly when he starts singing his village's song. But, you know, stuff happens. I love it. I actually love it. But yeah, they were an ancient powerhouse and people just forget about them because they're always thinking of the English. And the English were, frankly, weak as. Sorry, guys. This is why you don't have your own Halloween. You know, you might have had a harvest festival. I would put money on you having a harvest festival. And I can't actually find anything for the English until anything directly English started medieval or later. Everything that I've tried to get in is medieval or earlier, unless it's something that is quite major, like Ginny the Witch, and there's other things in there from the 1700s, like Mischief Night, because that's part of Trick or Treat, things like that, just so that you can see how it all becomes modern Halloween. That's why I've done it. The reason why I've separated it all down is so that people can find out about where they are, where they've come from, you know, the differences between them without falling asleep. So that's it for now. Next one, Cornwall. Let's have fun with that. See ya. Bye.